Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Tomas sharing all my thoughts on fashion, lifestyle, and anything else that comes to mind. This is the inaugural first episode of, well, I wouldn't really say my podcast because a podcast is like a listening thing and I don't really know how to upload this to Spotify, so it's gonna remain on YouTube. So I guess welcome to my first episode of my podcast. I mean, you could just play this and close your eyes and it'll be like a podcast in your ears, but this is going to be primarily most about fashion, latest news, and tea. You know, the fashion industry is always in shambles, so I thought instead of my usual, like more like professional, if you would call my videos that, like give me a break. Instead of my usual like more stylized videos, I do kind of like to sit here and kind of like yap away for like literally an hour. I have my notes here of everything that we're going to talk about, and then at the end I'm just going to do my little culture segments of everything that I'm interested right now, because I would like to say that I have kind of like very, very good taste in music, movies, TV shows, etc., etc. So I thought, why not at the end just talk about it? This is going to be very chill, very low editing, just kind of uploading straight to YouTube. So I hope you guys like this. Strap in. We have a lot of interesting topics. From the title, we have the Burberry mess, we have the Mcqueen mess. I'm going to talk about Japan a little bit, Marc Jacobs, Wimbledon, Dior. We are going to get into it all. Actually, my power is literally out right now because we're kind of in like a weird thunder, not even thunder, like a weird rainstorm thing. So my power is out. I have nothing better to do than film this video pretty much. So let's get into it because there's absolutely no time to waste. Also, if you guys have any cool names for this podcast, can you please let me know? I thought maybe like the tea with Tomas, but like I feel like there's a lot of podcasts right now that have like tea in the name. So the first topic that I want to get into is actually one of the most probably serious and big topics to talk about, and it is the Burberry scandal. I don't know if you call this a scandal, but the profit reports for the quarter for Burberry came out, and they are not that good. They are down 21% in sales, you guys. This is not good. And they recently just got rid of their last CEO and just hired a new one who actually comes, I don't know the new guy's name, unfortunately, but he comes from Coach and Michael Kors. So I think what they're trying to do, I basically think like what the problem with Burberry is, and I also think that this was kind of maybe like Ricardo. I feel like Ricardo was maybe hired for a different reason, because Ricardo Tisci at Burberry was very streetwear focused. And I do think Burberry used to kind of have that streetwear, kind of like, I don't want to say the word like chav, but kind of, I don't know, is that offensive? Like, I don't know, let me know. Kind of that like streetwear, kind of like teen, younger demographic. And that didn't work out. So then they brought in Daniel Lee. But the thing is, Daniel Lee worked in Bottega because Bottega was a very pretentious, ultra high luxury, minimalist brand. And that's why he worked really well at Daniel Lee. Burberry is none of those things. When you think of Burberry, you think of approachable luxury. You think of the Burberry umbrellas. You think of the TB t-shirts. You think of the Burberry like hats that girls buy to wear to vacation on Miami, you know? So when they brought in Daniel Lee to kind of turn the brand upside down and make it into kind of like a high luxury brand, it's clearly not working, guys. And this is coming from someone that actually really loves Daniel Lee's collections. If you watch my fashion runway roast videos, I do really like his collections. I just don't think it fits the brand Burberry, and clearly it's showing because we have no hit bags, we have no hit shoes. The ready to wear is actually pretty okay in the last resort collection that he showed, but yeah, it's just not working out. I think by hiring the CEO, they're going to try and maybe still keep Daniel Lee, but they're going to kind of bring it into a more approachable direction. Maybe make like some of those coats from the runway, from the debut, were like $12,000. You can't just expect the Burberry client to just want to give you $12,000 just because Daniel Lee is at the helm. He also hasn't really created any like hit shoes at all, which is what obviously we know brands are built off accessories. And if we have no hit accessories like a bag or a shoe or hats, we obviously see profits falling down. So, I mean, I definitely think Burberry's in a lot of trouble. I'm not sure if it's even worth the hassle of getting Daniel Lee and hiring someone else, because this is a hard job to do otherwise. I think their best strategy is, and honestly, what do I know? Their best strategy, in my opinion, is to basically keep Daniel Lee, but get him to tailor everything in a more approachable luxe way. I think Burberry has always been kind of like the working classes brand. Like Coach. Coach nails it. As much as I don't necessarily love Coach, and would I ever wear a Coach bag? Probably not. Coach nails the kind of like affordable luxury. It's not pretentious, it's fun. Moms, teenagers, 21-year-olds, 28-year-olds, everybody wears Coach. And I think Burberry needs to kind of go in that direction, but still kind of make it luxury, because Burberry is a luxury brand, but it doesn't need to be ultra luxury. Like, it doesn't need to be competing with Brunello. It doesn't need to be competing with Bottega and all those kind of like quiet ultra luxe, like Laura Piana. Like, that's not your competition. Your competition should be Coach. Your competition should be Marc Jacobs, you know? So what do you guys think of that? I mean, I don't know. Like, I think, and I also heard this is really sad, because then it's funny how fashion always trickles from the top to the bottom, but because Daniel Lee isn't selling, apparently Burberry is slashing 300 jobs, which is really sad, you know, when people are out of a job. And yeah, Burberry's in trouble, I will say. Moving on, we have, okay, I want to talk about Japan a little bit. So you guys are like, what do you mean Japan? Like, yeah, we're talking about Japan right now. So I recently had a friend tell me that he's actually going to Japan for 2 weeks. And every time, I don't go on TikTok that much anymore, because I do feel like it's a little bit of like a brain rot moment. But every time you search Japan on TikTok, it's like so many people, so many tourists going in, especially for like luxury vintage designer. And I saw recently that the yen is really, really low. The economy isn't doing very well there, but I heard that the yen is really low. So I was like, oh, why don't I look into going to Japan? Even though it hasn't really ever interested in me going. But then you look at the content, and like, this is what I mean. Like, TikTok can really do or die with your place, because you'll go on TikTok and like everybody is like, I just found my dream Chanel bag in Japan, come with me. And it's like those Chanel bowling bags that are like literally like $800 on Vestiaire. And I'm just like, the people that go, I don't want to be judgy. And actually, you know what? No, I should be judgy, because this is my page, this is my video, and if you don't like it, then we can deal with that. But like, I am going to be judgy. I just feel like the people that go to Japan are like really cringe, and it's just like, I'm turned off by it, because I know I recently had another friend that came back from Japan back in, I think, February, and she said that literally, like, it's just a bunch of white people. They're just like, come with me to try ramen down the street. I'm like, it's like a really big turn off. And I think eventually, obviously, I will go to Japan. Like, I want to go. I think if I move to Europe, which I'm trying to do in the next 2 years, I think it's easier to go to Japan. Is Europe closer to Japan, or is America? I think America is closer to Japan, right? Because we're going this way. No, Asia's this way. Yeah, I guess if I'm in Europe, it's closer to go to Japan. But also, one thing that really turns me off is like flights. If a flight is like longer than 7 hours, like, I will not do it. Actually, my family's going to Argentina in October, and they invited me, and I looked at the flight, and it was 16 hours, and I was like, no. But yeah, what do you guys think about Japan right now? Like, I really want to go, because I think it's super cool. I think the shopping there is amazing. The food is amazing. I mean, obviously the yen is doing really bad, so it wouldn't be like necessarily an expensive trip. But do you find that all these content creators are like kind of ruining places by like making these videos? Like, I heard Barcelona, like, tourists will like grab guns with water and like shoot them at you, like, if you're a tourist, which I'm all for. Like, I hate tourists. Every time I'm in New York, you can spot a tourist a mile away. It's so like, why are you like, I don't get tourism. Like, why are you going to a city just to walk around and see its greatest hits? To me, it's so lame. Like, I'm so not like a museum person. Like, to like go to Barcelona and then go see the cathedral and go to the museum and go get coffee. Like, to me, it's so lame. I don't know if I'm just a hater, but like, I don't care enough about a city to go see its greatest hits. Like, am I a tour guide? Are you paying me to go see the Big Ben? Are you paying me to go to see the Barbican in London? Like, I don't get it. It's just not my vibe, you know? I want to talk about Mcqueen a little bit. So Sean McGear, the new director of Mcqueen, recently just came out with his new collection. This week's video, I actually did a whole deep dive and review of the new collection on the website. But it's funny because I was thinking about this today, but when the runway collection came out, it was kind of like, universally panned. But then I see on Twitter people like the high fashion accounts posting about the hoof boots. And people are like, oh my God, I love this, I love this, I love this. I think the tweet had like 500,000 views. You know how on Twitter you can see the views on like the right? The views are really high, and I was like, fashion is such a flip-flop thing. When everybody, if literally, like Karl Lagerfeld told you guys that the sky was yellow, literally all of you guys would follow suit and be like, yeah, you're right, the sky is yellow. Because when the Mcqueen collection came out, everybody was like saying it's so bad, it's so not Mcqueen, it's not the essence of the brand at all. And then like now that the product has come in and you see it like on the website, now everybody's like, oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. So I just thought that was really funny and interesting, because like fashion, you can't just, my advice is to just have your own opinion always. And you guys know me, I'm very opinionated. If I hate something, I'm going to tell you if I hate it. If I love it, I'm going to tell you that I love it. And I'm never going to switch up unless I change my opinion. So yeah, I just thought that was funny. I think fashion is always like kind of a flip-flopping industry. And if you watch my video on the review of the Mcqueen collection, there are actually a lot of strong pieces in the collection, and I think really great pieces that I think would do well when it comes to retail. So I'm very excited to see how the brand will progress with the new image, and I think, yeah, it's really interesting. I kind of love, it's one of my favorite things when brands switch creative directors. I know it's like Celine with Eddie Saman the rumors are building up, and I do think it's quite true that he is leaving, and it makes me really sad because he kind of turned Celine upside down on its axis and basically made it so much better than Phoebe Philo. Created menswear, created accessories, created fragrance. Like the profits, just by creating those categories, the profits have already gone up with basic math. So I'd be really sad to see Eddie Saman leaving, especially because I heard who they're trying to get, and to me it's like a little lame, I won't lie, but yeah. I think it's like, yeah. I do like the kind of like creative director switching. I think it's fun to see like who's gonna take over Givenchy now. I just think to me that's like pretty interesting, because I like to see what designers will bring to like another brand, you know? Let's talk about the last Marc Jacobs collection. So I believe this is for spring 2025. So he kind of just shows it when he wants. So if you guys saw on social media, here's the thing about Marc Jacobs, it's kind of like an anomaly to me, because I don't see the high fashion collections being promoted that much, and it just leads me to believe, why are we doing this if we aren't, like, are we doing this for fun, or are we just trying to make this into like a business? So if you guys know, the Runway Marc Jacobs line of his line is actually literally only carried at Bergdorf Goodman. It's kind of like a collaboration between the two. So Bergdorf's will buy pieces from the collection, and then they will produce it and send it to Bergdorf's. I don't get it, because especially I don't think a Marc Jacobs high fashion client would be buying it from Bergdorf's. They'd probably just buy it from the store. I remember when I used to go to New York a few years ago, and they had the Marc Jacobs store on Madison Avenue. I think it should probably still be there, but now they've kind of rebranded the stores to be like the little, like the Marc Jacobs tote bags and stuff. Good for you, make your money. I hate seeing a business fail. So like, I'm all here for Marc Jacobs making his money, but they used to have like the runway pieces on the window, and it was just so cool. If you're really into that kind of like whimsical, big fashion kind of stuff, like Marc Jacobs used to be one of those designers that really provided that for those kind of customers, and it was really cool just walking past and seeing the stuff like in the windows. I loved it. I thought it was so cool. But now, like, this collection was really good. I loved it. I thought it was this kind of like pinup doll, like baby doll thing onto like the models' bodies, and I thought it was a really cool idea. But then I just think that like I went on the Bergdorf's website for the last collection, and there's like 6 pieces out of 48 looks. So I'm just like, what is the point of this? Like, I guess that you can just make these pieces to send to celebrities to wear on the red carpet, and then that's how we get press for the brand. I totally get that. But I just wonder what is kind of the point. Like, is he just doing it for fun? Which, if he is, I think it's really cool. I obviously, for the most part, do love Marc Jacobs runway collections. I just wish that it was like a legitimate business instead of just focusing all on like Heaven, which has been doing really well, and like all the little tote bags, you know? Also, I think the Marc Jacobs TikTok account is so funny, you guys. They have just like the pulse on TikTok culture. Someone will go viral, and then like the next week, like they'll have like a Marc Jacobs video on the TikTok, and I just think it's like really cool. Obviously, their marketing team is very, very in the know of what's going on in culture right now, and I think it's like Marc Jacobs is one of those brands that it's a little kitschy, it's a little like cute and like tongue-in-cheek kind of vibes. So I do think that like I like it. I like what Marc Jacobs is doing. Ooh, let's talk about the Daniel Craig Loewe campaign. So yesterday, Jonathan Anderson just debuted the Loewe campaign for fall 2024. Daniel Craig is in it, and you guys, you have to go see the pictures. He looks so hot and so good. I've never been a fan of Daniel Craig, just because for me, I'm not into this whole like Glenn Powell. I'm not into this like aggressive masculinity. I like them a little bit like fruity, and like Daniel Craig is giving fruity in this campaign. I love it. I think it's so cool. I love his like little comb over hair. Honestly, what's the difference between his hair and mine at this rate? But I think it's a really cool campaign. Greta Lee is in it. You guys know my thoughts on Greta Lee with Loewe. I'm not really a huge fan, but I think you guys should check out this Loewe campaign. It's really cool. Shot by David Sims. I love it. I think it's funny how like with the main campaigns, Jonathan will get David Sims. And then for like the pre-fall or cruise or Paula Zibiza, which is the cruise collection for Loewe, he'll get Jürgen Teller. So I just think it's funny to watch kind of like different aesthetics in the same brand. But I think that's like pretty notable. This week, you guys should check that out. Wimbledon. So I've seen a lot of people, Zendaya, clearly still promoting Challenger. She was at Wimbledon this weekend. Some of my favorite influencers like Laura Lee. I am such a Laura Lee stan, you guys. Like me and Laura Lee, I will go to war for that girl. I absolutely love her. I will like watch her videos. Every single video, I will watch it. Even her podcast, full coverage. I'm like obsessed with her. She went to Wimbledon with Portia. So it's funny how like Wimbledon has become such a social event. I mean, I think it probably was always kind of like a social event, but now like everybody, even like the Duchess of Cambridge, she was there. I just think it's like so interesting to watch. Okay, if you're into like celebrity culture like I am, and into the fashion, like people will like hire stylists for Wimbledon because they're obviously going to be seen. And I just think I want to go one day, and I think it's so interesting to just kind of like sit there and people watch, not even watch the tennis like necessarily, but I just think it's like so cool to like, because it's a mix of everybody. There's no like VIP at Wimbledon. Like you get your seat and like you could be sitting next to Beyonce. I mean, I guess you could get the booths kind of up there, but yeah, I think it's like really interesting. I love it. I love seeing like the fashion. I love seeing what people wear. I love seeing like the celebrity outings. Like I think, oh no, that was Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes. They were seen at the World Cup final. Sorry, I thought that was Wimbledon, but it wasn't. But you know, those like interesting pairings. Like what if Taylor Swift went? Even though I side-eye Taylor Swift. But yeah, Wimbledon is one of my favorite social events in the UK. I've been obsessed with UK culture for like so long. So like I always love when I see it in the summer Wimbledon. All right, the Dior scandal. So I don't know if I should talk about this because I actually have no idea. For the most part, I've watched a little bit of YouTube videos on it, but I believe the whole thing is that Dior somehow spilled the beans that some of their bags cost £56 to make. And obviously a Dior bag right now is like £4,000 to £5,000. Or 3,500. I think in pounds it'd be a little bit lower because I live in Canada. So here they're like 5,900 for like a Dior, a Miss Dior. Sorry for the like so many sirens. I feel like the city is going to shambles. You guys, like I'm not even kidding. Like get me out of here. Dior scandal. Yeah, like my thing is, I'm all for people getting fair wages to make the product. And I think obviously child labor, I am 100% against it. Like I don't want a child making the clothing that I'm wearing. To me, it's just not good. Let's just pay everybody fair. In terms of pricing, I think people acting all shocked and all like, oh, £56. Like, I'm like, what do you expect? Unless you're like completely dumbfounded when it comes to luxury shopping, or you are new to luxury shopping, would you not expect the thing that you've been made for you to be like cost $100 to make? A Prada nylon bag, you guys, I'm not even lying to you, probably cost $20 to make. And how much do they retail for? $2,100. Like, that's the name of the game that we're doing here. I don't know why people act so dumbfounded and so like shocked that it costs 30 cents to make a Balenciaga cap. Like, that's literally the point of creating and selling clothing for like a 380% markup. I just think people have like selective outrage, and I think like this isn't even like a scandal. It's just like it's like, yeah, like I think this biggest scandal is that they're paying children to make I don't want to say that, allegedly paying children to make the stuff, because I didn't read the article, but like I think they're using unfair labor, so I think that they should fix that. But it doesn't shock me that it costs £56 to make a Dior bag. Actually, I have tea. I'm friends with this one personal shopper who does a lot of her business in London, and I was in London last June, and Dior had she sent me a picture. I'm gonna ask her if I can insert it here. I probably won't be able to. So Dior was having one of those, it wasn't like it was an employee sale actually. An employee sale where they had, I really wish I could show you the picture. Basically, you guys know the 30 Montaigne bag? It's actually a really cool bag, like I love the bag. They had like a long table. When I mean a long, like picture one of those like long dinner tables where like 8 guests sit on. Lined up, stacked like dominoes, black and this like kind of blue Dior 30 Montaignes stacked up. Like probably like 80 Dior 30 Montaignes. For like, I think she told me the prices, they were like £450. Versus retail, they're probably like £3,100. So Dior knows that, like, they know what their stuff is valued, you guys. Like, you're going into Dior boutique, not only are you shopping for the product, you're shopping for the experience, and you're shopping for the brand name. You're not gonna get a Dior bag for £56. This is what I mean. I think, like, people get so into the whole, like, I want something to talk about, and I want the scandal, and it's just like, what do you expect? I think people just need to, like, lower their expectations. You're going to a Prada boutique, you're buying it because you want a Prada bag, and you like the logo, mama. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. You are not going to Prada to buy something of quality, because if you did, you'd be going to Brunello, you'd be going to Laura Piana that has 0 labels on it. You want the label, and it costs 20 cents. It costs $20, I bet you, to make a Prada nylon bag. So let's just drop it. Let's stop it with the clutching your pearls that a Dior bag costs £56. Like, don't act stupid. That's all I'm saying. Don't act shocked. Okay, what do you guys think? This is one of the last topics before I get into the culture roundup. Let's talk about lowballing on Vestiaire. So recently I was following this Marc shirt that I really, really wanted, and the seller had listed it for so cheap that I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep lowballing him, and he kept declining me, and I was so annoyed. So he had the listing for $100. I lowballed him $85, he declined, and then I think I went to bed, and then woke up. I'm like, okay, because if I'll do intervals, $70 decline, $75 decline, $80 whatever. He sold it for $93. I'm like, can you just sell it to me for $85? What's $7 friggin' on Vestiaire? And the thing was tricky about Vestiaire, I do love Vestiaire. Like, if I ever had a partnership on here, I would want Vestiaire to do it, because I think they're a great selling platform, and I think the people that use Vestiaire know their stuff. Like, I feel like on Grailed, it's a lot of teenagers that don't really know what they're doing. And I feel like on Vestiaire, it's a more mature fashion fan user group of people that use the app. The thing about Vestiaire is I do think they have some of the highest markups in terms of them taking the profit from their sales. So for example, I think if you sell something for $100, you make $75, and I think they take $25. And I think from those $25, it does include the shipping and stuff. I could be wrong, but I know they are one of the highest markups in terms of reselling designers. So like, I get it, you want to make your money, but consistently, I think like I'm a pretty good lowballer. I always message first, and I'm like, 100, pay now. And I think like if you want tips on how to lowball, always say pay today, because I'm not ready to lowball you unless I'm ready to pay right now. And I know some people, like some friends, I've heard that they'll just lowball to see if they accept it, and then they never pay for it. I wouldn't do that, because you've actually just ruined your chances of getting the item. I only do it if it's like, oh, lowball, pay today, like right now. Like I'll literally pay it in 20 minutes when you accept. So yeah, that was one of those things that I did this week, and I was really upset. And I just saw it that he sold it for $93, the Marnie shirt, and I was like so annoyed. But yeah. Okay, guys, those are some of the topics that I talked about this week. By the way, with this podcast, I don't imagine that I can probably do this every week because this is more of a fashion-focused podcast, and I don't think the industry moves that fast. So I think I'm aiming for this to be I'm aiming this to be like bi-weekly. I think that would be really cool for me, and I just think it's fun to upload a kind of like a long video. But let's get into Tomas's culture roundup of the week. This is everything that I'm loving in culture: music, TV shows, movies, etc., 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 etc. And I'm going to share them with you because I have the most amazing taste, if I'm going to be really, really honest. Let's talk about movies. So the trailer for Anora just came out. So Anora won. I'm such like kind of like a movie snob. I love when like a movie is like highly awarded. So Anora won the Palme d'Or at Cannes, which is the highest prize that you can get at Cannes. It basically means like you did your big one on that movie. And Mcqueen Madison is one of my favorite actresses. She was in Scream for 20 minutes. But no spoilers. Her 20 minutes were worthwhile, if you get what I mean. I love her. I think she's so cool. I actually think that she's gonna become a Mimi girl. When her movie comes out, I definitely see it. I'm gonna upload this. I'm not gonna cut this out because I'm right. She is gonna become a Mimi girl. Even though she wore Chanel to Cannes in every look, so maybe she'll be like a Chanel girl. But I love her. This movie is about a prostitute and then her client, and they fall in love and then go on this adventure. Apparently it is like Oscar winning. Apparently Mikey Madison's gonna win an Oscar. The movie's gonna win an Oscar, but the trailer just came out on Neon. That studio is killing it right now. I'm actually gonna see Longlegs today. I'm so excited. I've been waiting like 6 months to see this movie, and I'm so friggin' excited to see this movie. But Neon has kind of been killing it lately. I know Longlegs opened with 20 million, which is the highest opening for any Neon movie. So I think A24 has some competition right now, and Neon is definitely going to be like a top contender for some of the coolest films. I know they're also coming out with Cuckoo with what's that actress? Hunter, the girl from Euphoria, I forget her name, Hunter. So that's another scary movie, but yeah, watch the trailer for Anora. It's really beautiful. It's inspiring. It just seems like such a cool, interesting movie. Kind of reminds me of Zola a little bit, even though Zola wasn't that great, but watch it. It's a great trailer. It's on their Instagram, and I love it. Okay, let's get into some of the music I'm loving right now. So you guys know that I'm into K-pop. NCT 127 just had their comeback. I'll go through this quick because maybe a lot of people don't know, but they have one of the members in the military right now. So one of the members is missing in the group. And I was a little worried. I'm like, how are they going to do this without, let's be honest, the member Taeyong is a huge part of the group. He's kind of like the star of the group, if I'm going to be really honest. He's not there, but I thoroughly enjoy the song. I think it's really catchy. I love it. I think it's a great song. I was listening to it at the gym today, and I think it's really good. It has that still like NCT 127 sound to it, but it's still really appealing to a general audience, and I think that's what NCT 127 does really well. But I absolutely love it. Other songs I'm into is Salvaje by Nathy Peluso, Spanish singer. I love her. I think she's so cool. I would recommend to watch the video for this. If you're into fashion, it's a very kind of fashion focused video. You're Losing Me by Taylor Swift. I'm sorry, that bridge where she's like, frontline, don't you know me? Like, it's so good and so catchy. I'm like obsessed with it. It's really annoying because like, I won't even listen to the full song. I'll just listen to the bridge and then replay the bridge over and over. So like, I have to do it every minute, but it's one thing with Taylor, she'll do her big one with the lyrics. Like, she's such a great lyricist that's so relatable. Like, when she says, repeated people pleaser or whatever, I'm like, relatable. As It Was by Harry Styles. I don't know why I'm into this because I actually don't love Harry Styles. I actually think he's like kind of annoying, but I can't deny a great song, you guys. As It Was is a great song. I love it. I think it's so catchy. It's quick, it's fun. It gives me kind of that vintagey feeling of the 80s. And I love it. And of course, Rockstar by Lisa. This came out, I think, like 3 weeks ago. It's a great, great song. I love it. I listened to the extended version way more than the regular version. I could definitely see this as being in like my top 5 songs for the final year at the end on Spotify, and absolutely love it. Rounding out with TV, are you guys watching Real Housewives of Orange County? They just had an amazing, amazing premiere last week, and it airs every Thursday. You guys should watch it. They brought back this Alexis Bellino, who was on like 10 years ago, and the old lore is kind of mixing with the new lore. And I know, I have a lot of thoughts on Housewives, and I think people always complain about the low viewership of Housewives right now, but I just think the era of Housewives is done. I think it's kind of embarrassing to watch Housewives and be really into it, but I don't care because I'm like obsessed with it. Like I grew up on Housewives, so that's my stuff. I love it. But this is this was great television, you guys. It was funny, it was entertaining, it had drama, it had conflict, it had relatability. This was a great, great premiere. And then when you compare it to the franchises that are showing right now, like New Jersey and Dubai, you're just like, I don't even watch Dubai because it's such a disaster. New Jersey, I hate watch it because it like pisses me off so much that they ruined the show, the cast. But in terms of reality TV, Orange County is absolutely freaking taking it. It was fantastic. I put my phone down and watched it. That's how you know this episode was good. When I'm not even like going on my phone while I'm watching it. It was just like a thoroughly great episode. And I loved it, you guys. It was so good. So if you are into reality TV, or if you want to watch it's really interesting conflict, you guys. Like, and I don't think that you need to watch like the last 10 seasons to get it, because they kind of like speed you up to it. They talk about it on the show, so if you've never watched it, but I really recommend it, you guys. It's great. Somehow we're all gonna be team Shannon Bedore, even though she's like in the wrong. And if you watch the episode, you know what I mean. But I am so extremely seated. I'm really excited to watch the rest of the season. Okay, guys, I think that's like a wrap on Tea with Tomas. I don't love that name, but if you guys come up with any other names, let me know. You guys have to let me know in the comments what you thought of all these topics. I feel like this was a good first practice episode. Episode 00, you know, getting used to talking for this long takes practice. Hopefully, especially if it's in podcast form, I'm trying not to take too many pauses. I know I can cut it out, but I do kind of want to get practice on that. But let me know what you guys thought of this week's second upload. Again, if you guys liked it, I'm not promising episodes every week unless there's like a lot of stuff to talk about. If there's a huge culture roundup, then like I need to get on the camera and like yap about it, obviously. But if you don't see an episode for 2 or 3 weeks, fashion can be really slow. But let me know what you guys thought of this, and I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.